Shalom, friends. This week, a new bombshell has entered the villa. Of course, by villa, I mean the Garden of Eden. And by bombshell, I am referring to Lilith. Welcome to Jewish Lore Reactions, the Night Queen. As per our previous episode, Adam was the first human being, the first man, the first victim of the male loneliness epidemic through every fault of his own. Remember what he did to the first Eve? Because I do. Justice for Eve the first. Now Lilith had come into being. Adam saw this beautiful woman, perceived her with his very male gaze, and lo, he pulled Lilith for a chat. He was very excited to get to know her in the biblical sense. Straight from the jump, Adam tried really hard to establish his dominance in this relationship. So I'm kind of like a big deal around here. You could say I'm the alpha male of the Garden of Eden. I know you might be thinking, oh, what about that lion or that wolf? But no, it's me. You're looking at the man who named them. As such a high-value male, I am looking for an incredibly hot trad wife who will satisfy me all night. It's what I deserve. Just recognize that I am superior to you in every possible way. You're gonna need to look to me for leadership and submit to me in all things. Like, when we do it, I'm gonna need to be on top. I'm sure that's what you want too. Alas, the first man was also the first overconfident Delulu Sigma edgelord, convinced that he had the level of riz required to pull a baddie of Lilith's caliber. If Adam had lived today, his cringe-inducing Manosphere podcast could have been doing numbers. Lilith had listened intently until the word vomit had finally stopped pouring out of his mouth. And then she spoke. Wow. When you were naming all the animals, I really hope you kept the name Chauvinist Pig for yourself. Nothing about you makes you better than me. That you think that is just so pathetically sad. We were both created by God from the exact same materials. Have you met you? Frankly, I'm an obvious improvement. Your whole vibe is mediocre claymation puppet with an identity crisis. Oh, the irony of you thinking you could ever be on top when you were so very, 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 very far beneath me. Adam felt incredibly triggered by this. His self-confidence evaporated into thin air. Desperately trying to claw that back, he said, well, you don't gotta be a bitch about it, okay? Why are you getting so offended? Take a compliment. I'm saying that you're hot. You think you're better than me or something? Yes, but I'd like to be excluded from this narrative. To Adam's absolute shock, Lilith stood up and did something completely unexpected. She unlocked and demonstrated an extremely rare skill. She pronounced the all-powerful name of God. And instead of hard-launching her relationship with Adam, she used the power of the name to hard-launch herself into the sky and fly away from the Garden of Eden. I mean, so many of us imagine being able to teleport away from a terrible date, but she actually did it. I think we can all agree that that is vastly more impressive than waiting for an Uber. Now, it may surprise you, or not at all surprise you, to learn that Adam was really, really bad at rejection. He was wallowing in some big feelings. He had some big fifis. He really wanted some empathy. So what did he do? He threw a tantrum and demanded to speak to the manager, who was in fact God. He cried out to God saying, "The woman you gave me already left me, and I didn't even get a chance to touch her boobs." Now, instead of suggesting to Adam that perhaps this was a wonderful opportunity for some true self-reflection and maybe a chance to ask the Reddit community AITA in this situation, God chose to go a different direction. God summoned 3 angelic bounty hunters to chase Lilith down. Sansenoy, and Samengalof. Yes, they do sound like the name of a law firm, but this was before law firms. The angels flew after Lilith in a high-speed chase, fast and furious Gan Eden drift, and they caught up with her above the Red Sea. And in this standoff, they delivered what I believe to be the most fucked up ultimatum that I have ever heard. Let's see what you think.
The boss says if you return with us, everything will be totally fine.
But if you don't, every single day, you will give birth to 100 children. And every single day, they will all die.
So you will come back, right?
Holy shit. This does not seem very pro-life of God. But it does involve forced birth, so... Message received, loud and clear. Bow to the demands of male entitlement or suffer the most obscene, soul-crushing, body horror consequences imaginable. What a choice. But in the face of this choice, what did Lilith say? No. The angels were truly flummoxed.
What do you mean, no?
Let me explain. No is a word that means no.
Then you force us to drown you in the sea.
No, you won't, because I figured it out. I know why God really created me. This lore needs a villain. A narrative big bad, a cautionary tale to make sure future women know their place and stay in it. Otherwise, they might get the wrong idea about their own independence and bodily autonomy. Dangerous notions in a patriarchy, so I know the stories will need to make me evil. You threaten me with daily massacres of my children, and yet I'm the one who will be known as a baby killer. The monster who creeps in at night, who people will blame when their infants sicken and die. And I'll be cast in this role because I dipped from a bad date with a man who has a superiority complex and was too boring to wrap his mind around doing it any other position than missionary. I am a free being with independent will, but I know I don't control this narrative. So go ahead, do what you have to do. Demonize me! In the rabbinic storytelling imagination, Lilith, the Night Queen, was built different. She wasn't like our bestie Ashmedai, spending his time quoting scripture and learning in heaven. Nor was she like a normal townie demon who would pretty much leave you alone as long as you avoided the ruin it was lurking in. No, Lilith was a serious, constant threat. The OG HBIC demon queen. The incarnation of unholy lust for human men. A terrifying nightmare tormenting women in labor, taking the lives of their children. But even in that moment of terrible crystallized truth and clarity for Lilith, hovering in the air above the Red Sea, surrounded by God's brute squad of hench angels, she once again did something remarkable. She voluntarily offered a literal life-saving hack to the three angels. She said, FYI, pro tip, I am incredibly amulet sensitive. As long as someone is carrying an amulet with you three on it, I swear by the name, they will be safe from me. I swear. By the name. Because you see, unlike Adam, I actually have personal integrity. This is historically why so many Jewish amulets, and we do have a ton, depict Senoy, Sansenoy, and Samengalof, often paired with the words Chutz Lilith, out, Lilith. Honestly, I haven't seen a ton that say GTFO Ashmedai, and that's quite telling. A primary early written source for Lilith's story is the medieval alphabet of Ben Sira, a text considered by some to be a male reframing of earlier and obviously much cooler legends told by women, for women, praising Lilith's assertiveness. But after Ben Sira, there are centuries upon centuries of stories from across the Jewish diaspora of the evil, witchy, vampire-coded Lilith. The first and most batshit example of the crazy ex-girlfriend archetype. Despite all these tales of terror, here in Lilith's origin, we find a woman who knows exactly who she is and what she wants, and also what she does not want. No, thank you. A woman of independence, self-determination, and radical bodily autonomy. A woman so fully herself. Honestly, life goals. Clearly the Middle Ages didn't want those vibes, but retold in the present era, that's a very different story. When I view Lilith in this light, I don't see a cautionary tale. I see a fucking legend. All hail the queen.